Hey everybody, welcome back to Let's Talk Physical Media. I am your host John, and this is the weekly show where we talk, you guessed it, everything in the world of physical media, and we'll also talk a little bit about things in the world of film. And this week, right out of the gate, we're going to talk about one of the greatest films ever, definitely one of the greatest westerns of all time, The Searchers, which is directed by John Ford and it stars John Wayne, is going to be coming to 4K Blu-ray courtesy of Warner Brothers, but through the Warner Brothers archive. Now, I'm not too sure. Is this the first film ever released on 4K through the Warner Brothers archive? Because usually they release a few films on Blu-ray each and every single month, but it's pretty strange that this isn't your standard Warner Brothers release. I'm not too sure what the reasoning is. Maybe they're trying to get the Warner Brothers Archive brand off the ground a little bit more, and selling a 4K Blu-ray like The Searchers is what I consider to be a pretty big deal. I haven't seen that much excitement online for it. Maybe it's because it's a 1950s film, it's a Western. Maybe people don't love Westerns as much as I do, but when I saw this get announced for 4K, now it's been rumored for quite some time that it would be coming to 4K, so I wasn't shocked when it was officially announced. I was pretty surprised to see that it's actually going to be coming out on December 17th, which is already looking like a really crowded day for 4K Blu-rays. Just like all of December looks like we're going to have a crazy month for 4K Blu-rays, but we're going to be getting that on December 17th. The same day we'll be getting Internal Affairs, and I think there's something else pretty big that day. That might also be the same day as The Faculty on 4K Blu-ray, so a lot just on December 17th, but The Searchers, it goes right up that list of my most anticipated still for the rest of 2024. That's one of the best looking films ever. I cannot wait to see that in beautiful and stunning 4K Blu-ray. I imagine it'll be a pretty damn good transfer. And then this week we also got Shout Factor's January release announcements, and this is really just one movie I want on 4K Blu-ray for sure, and that's gonna be Vampires from John Carpenter from 1998, which stars James Woods. And this is a pretty good John Carpenter movie. It looks like we're going to be getting every single one of his movies on 4K Blu-ray at some point. And Vampires, actually, I'm really glad because I actually have never picked that movie up on physical media, mainly because it's not one of my favorite John Carpenter movies, but it is actually a really good one, and one I'm looking forward to rewatching. Maybe it'll go up my John Carpenter list. You know, it doesn't quite crack the top 10, but hey, I'm really glad to be seeing this one come in a 4K Blu-ray from Scream Factory. So, of course, I expect this one to be a pretty good transfer as well. Scream Factory usually does some great transfers, and I'm definitely looking forward to this one. John Carpenter, one of my favorite directors. The next big one is The Last Voyage of the Demeter, which is, or Demeter, I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm always wrong with that, which is about, Dracula's voyage on that ship. In a lot of Dracula stories, they kind of always talk about this. You might get some clips on the ship of him just running wild and just killing person after person on the ship. You get to see the entire voyage in this film. It didn't do great in the box office, and correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it only got a Blu-ray release, so a lot of people were anticipating a 4K Blu-ray release, mainly because it's a very good-looking movie, so I imagine it'll look very good on 4K Blu-ray. I actually haven't seen it yet, so maybe I'll pick this one up, but I'm definitely not going to be picking it up, on day one, mainly because it's a movie that I already know what's going to happen. I do want to check it out. I know there are some people out there who champion for this movie big time, and unfortunately a lot of Dracula movies haven't really been doing too well at the box office, and I felt bad that I didn't check this one out, but it's just one that it passed me by in theaters, and then I figured, hey, I'll wait for a 4K Blu-ray, and I'll just wait till it eventually goes on sale. And then another one is Sanctum, also coming to 4K Blu-ray, and they're promoting this as being produced by James Cameron. I've actually never seen this film. I'm not too sure how good a quality it is, but they're promoting it like, hey, James Cameron plays a part in this one. He's the one who produced it, so this one's coming to 4K Blu-ray as well. And then the last one is the Shaw Brothers Volume 5 is going to be coming out. So, if you're a big fan of those Shaw Brothers movies, those martial art films, and those collections that they've had come out, Volume 5 is coming out, so I know people are probably really excited for that. It's not something that I'm in love with. It's not my favorite genre of film. There are some that piqued my interest, but I've never been someone who's gotten those collections. But if you're a fan, hey, you're getting Volume 5 coming out as well in January. And then something that just came out, just kind of got announced right before I started recording, and that is that Cronos is going to be coming to 4K Blu-ray as well. I believe it's set in January, and it's going to be coming from the British Film Institute, and that means in the United States, I imagine, just like Paris, Texas, which was done by the British Film Institute as well for 4K Blu-ray, and the fact that Guillermo del Toro has worked a lot with the Criterion Collection, that will probably come to the Criterion Collection in early 2025 as well, maybe even a month later, just like Paris, Texas. The Criterion Collection has already released Cronos on Blu-ray, so I imagine that a 4K Blu-ray upgrade is probably in the works with this British Film Institute transfer. Guillermo del Toro has talked about working on the transfer for Cronos, working on the transfers for Mimic, and I believe there was another one he was working on as well. So he's out there trying to make sure that all of his classic films come to 4K Blu-ray. We've been very spoiled with Guillermo del Toro movies on 4K. We're even getting a new Criterion version of The Shape of Water on 4K Blu-ray, which I'm on the fence about picking up because I have the previously released 4K Blu-ray. And is it going to be a big noticeable difference? I do like the fact that it's Guillermo del Toro approved, and he's never really let me down, and he's a big supporter of physical media. I've enjoyed pretty much every single one of his movies. That's another one he's working on too, is Blade 2 on 4K Blu-ray, which not as good as the original Blade, but I still really love Blade 2, so I'm definitely looking forward to that coming to 4K Blu-ray as well. And then a rumor I heard this week is that Sergio Corbucci's The Great Silence is the same director who directed Django, which is considered one of the greatest 4K Blu-rays out there by numerous people. That came out from Arrow Video a couple years ago, but I've always enjoyed the movie The Great Silence. It's one of my favorite westerns of all time. It takes place in the snow. You can see the inspiration of this film on such movies as The Hateful Eight, which makes a lot of sense because it is a spaghetti western. Quentin Tarantino loves spaghetti westerns, even movies of his that aren't spaghetti westerns. Like, he obviously did a couple himself, or at least paying homage to those types of movies, but he takes that and even put it in movies like Kill Bill. Like, that stuff, it's not just the straightforward, like, hey, I took inspiration from martial arts films. He took stuff from the westerns he loved, and The Great Silence is definitely one of those westerns, and it's one of my favorite westerns of all time. And if they can clean this movie, because this movie's never looked good to me, as far as, like, I enjoy the cinematography of it, but it's always been in rough shape every time I checked it out. So if this is really going to be coming to 4K Blu-ray, I imagine it probably would be Arrow Video as well, maybe with one of those hard cases. I just cannot wait. I hope that's 100% true, because like I said, I love The Great Silence. So we got a couple westerns that are either coming to 4K Blu-ray or rumored to be coming to 4K Blu-ray. So if you're a western fan, you're going to be eating good in the neighborhood like myself, because westerns are one of my favorite genres at this point. Even though I didn't love them when I was younger, eventually as I got older, I really learned to appreciate them, and now I just always love the good character studies of a great western. And then the only other bit of news I got this week, and this has been rumored, and I've seen this rumor pop up a bunch of times, and it has nothing to do with physical media. It's just about Days of Thunder 2 possibly coming out through Paramount. Tom Cruise has talked about this a little bit more, that he's interested in this movie coming out. I don't know if he would be working with the same director that worked on Top Gun Maverick, but that was through Paramount as well. Obviously, the Mission Impossible movies are through Paramount. And, with Skydance coming over and merging with them, I don't know if maybe that would get the ball rolling a little bit faster. NASCAR, not the most popular sport anymore, but people still love NASCAR. People love Tom Cruise. But does Tom Cruise still move box office tickets? I think so. I think if there's anyone who could still sell movies, I think Tom Cruise is that guy. And if you say, oh, well, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning didn't do great, well, I just think that was Paramount's fault. I think they dropped the ball with that one. They released that movie only 10 days before Barbenheimer, so you were going to run into a buzzsaw. People were going to go see Barbie and Oppenheimer, and they didn't care anymore about Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, so you just marketed that wrong. If you would have moved to, like, August or September, it would have made so much more money, and it kills me, because I really think Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning is a great film, and people just don't talk about it anymore just because, it kind of just came and went, and I felt like the Mission Impossible movies that came out just before that got a lot more love, whereas Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, it's almost as good a quality as those movies, and it pays a lot of homage to the first Mission Impossible movie, and what Brian De Palma did with that. So, I got a little bit on a rant there about Mission Impossible, but it just gets my blood boiling a little bit, because Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning is a great film. I love Tom Cruise. Days of Thunder, if you guys saw the Q&A show yesterday, you heard me say that's my favorite sports film of all time, so of course I would love a sequel to it. Could it be as good? No one expected Top Gun Maverick to be that good. There's still a possibility that Days of Thunder 2 can be a great film. So that's going to do it here as far as news goes this week. There really, I guess, wasn't that much announcements, but what we did get announced are pretty good, and, I'm really excited for a bunch of these releases. The Searchers, the possibility of The Great Silence, Vampires coming to 4K Blu-ray, so I'm excited. Cronos coming to 4K Blu-ray, so there was some good announcements this week, and let me know, what did you guys think of the announcements for this week? Are you going to be picking up any of these? Leave those answers in the comment section below. And then while you guys are down there, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, share this video if you could. We also have channel memberships, guys, so if you want to become a friend of the channel, a producer for the channel like John Doe Juggalo and Jet Eckert, you can do that, or you can even become a channel director like Frank from Frank's Media Reviews and Mr. Smelly Potato, where you can have your choice review each and every single month. But if you got no money to throw away, guys, don't worry about it. We just hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, get out in those streets, tell your friends about us, and then we'll be seeing you around.